Imagine this. Your brother has been missing for years. No trace, no answers. And then, one night, you find him. On a forum. For the dead. This isn't a story about a miracle. It's about a discovery that left me questioning everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the dark corners of the internet. I thought I'd lost him forever. But then, out of nowhere, a post with his name. A chilling message from a place where the living don't belong. How did he end up there? What does it mean for our family? And is it possible? He was never truly gone. In this video, I'll share the story of how I found my missing brother on a forum for the dead, and the terrifying incidents that followed. I woke up drenched in sweat, clutching the note with trembling fingers. Don't stop looking, there's another door. But something about it didn't feel right. The handwriting was Ryan's, at least, I thought it was, but the words carried an undercurrent of menace, as if written by someone who knew too much. The shadows in my room stretched unnaturally, curling like fingers around the corners. I tried to shake off the unease, but the silence was too loud, the air too still. I stared at the note again, my mind racing. Why would Ryan leave a note instead of explaining himself when I'd found him? Why didn't he come back with me? That night, I dreamed of the gray world again. I was back on the empty street, the houses melting into grotesque shapes. Ryan stood in the distance, his figure silhouetted against a flickering, unnatural light. "Ryan!" I called, but my voice didn't carry. He turned slowly, his head tilting unnaturally far to the side, like a marionette with its strings pulled wrong. His face was featureless this time, smooth and pale like porcelain, but his body was distorted. His arms were too long, his legs bent at strange angles. When he moved, it wasn't walking, it was gliding, his limbs dragging behind him like dead weight. "Why did you leave me?" His voice echoed in my mind, layered and broken. I stumbled backward, but the shadows surged around me, their jagged forms clawing at my legs. Ryan's face stretched into a grotesque smile, splitting wider and wider until it reached his ears. "Come back," he whispered, his voice now my own. "I'm waiting." I woke up gasping, my throat raw from screaming. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, not with Ryan, but with me. I tried piecing together the timeline of events, but the details didn't add up. The more I thought about Ryan, the more fractured my memories became. His laugh, his voice, the way he looked, it all felt distant, like trying to recall a dream after waking. And then there was the cabin. The trap door I'd found didn't exist when we were kids. We'd explored every inch of that place. So how did I know to look for it? The note burned in my hand, and I realized something chilling. The handwriting didn't just look like Ryan's. It looked like mine. Desperate for answers, I returned to the cabin. The shadows were thicker this time, pressing against the trees like living tar. The air smelled of rot, and the trap door felt heavier, colder. I descended the ladder, my flashlight flickering as I moved. The iron door was still there, its carvings shifting as if alive. But something was waiting for me. In the dim light, I saw him, Ryan. Or what was left of him. He was taller now, impossibly tall, his limbs stretched and twisted. His head nearly grazed the ceiling, and his face was a blank canvas, smooth and featureless except for the faint indent of a smile. "Ryan," I whispered. He stepped forward, the sound of his movements like creaking wood. "You're finally here," he said, his voice echoing unnaturally. "But you're not supposed to be." "What are you talking about?" I asked, my voice shaking. Ryan's smile stretched wider, splitting his face. "Don't you get it? You're not looking for me. You've never been looking for me." The shadows behind him writhed, taking on familiar shapes, faces I recognized. My friend Mark, my parents, even me. "You don't remember, do you?" Ryan's voice grew darker. "Mark didn't go missing. You killed him." The memory hit me like a freight train. The fight, the argument over nothing, the shove too hard, Mark's body hitting the rocks at the riverbank. "No," I whispered, stumbling back. Ryan laughed, the sound sharp and jagged. "You built this world to hide from the truth, and you built me to punish yourself." I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "That's not true. You're lying." Am I? Ryan leaned closer, his featureless face inches from mine. Then why do I look like this? Why do you keep coming back to me? The shadows surged forward, pulling me to the ground. I screamed, clawing at the dirt, but they were relentless. Find the door, Ryan mocked, his voice twisting with laughter. Isn't that what you've been telling yourself? The iron door creaked open behind him, spilling cold, gray light into the tunnel. This is your last chance, Ryan said, his smile gone. But know this, every door you open brings you closer to me. The shadows dragged me toward the door, their jagged limbs tearing at my skin. As I crossed the threshold, I heard Ryan's voice one last time. You can't run from what you are. I woke up in a hospital room, the smell of antiseptic sharp in the air. A nurse entered, her face kind but wary. You've been unconscious for days, she said softly. Do you remember what happened? I shook my head, the events blurring together. Where am I? She hesitated. You were found in the woods, screaming about someone named Ryan. But when the police searched your house... Her voice trailed off, and she placed a newspaper on the table beside me. The headline read, Man Found in Forest, Linked to Unsolved Disappearance of Childhood Friend. Beneath it was a photo of me and a grainy, distorted figure standing behind me, its smooth face grinning wide. I reached for the mirror on the bedside table, my hands trembling. When I looked into it, my reflection didn't smile back. So, was it a glitch in the system, a sign from the beyond, or something much darker at play? Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure. The answers are still out there. If you want to keep unraveling the mystery, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn on notifications, because this story is far from over. Thanks for watching, and stay curious. You never know what you might uncover next.